This muddy road cuts through BC's Nicola Valley. It might not look like much, but a section of it has been part of a decades-long battle because of where it leads and who owns what's around it.
We're just trying to make a living raising beef.
And it's an understatement to say that the Douglas Lake Cattle Company is succeeding at that. It's Canada's largest private ranch. It was first founded in 1884, but the cowboy way of life still very present today.
We've got 200,000 acres about of deeded land, private, but we're not in the land business and we're not in the development business. We're in the cattle business. And so protecting that land is number one.
Protecting, Joe Gardner says, from people trespassing and destroying the grasslands. The ranch has been embroiled in a court battle over two lakes, Minnie and Stony. It owns all the land bordering them, but not the lakes themselves. They're Crown assets, but BC's Court of Appeal has ruled that the general public can't access them because that road doesn't actually reach the shorelines. The only way to fish there is by paying to stay in one of the company's lodges and cabins.
The truth is they're trying to take control of these lakes for their own private use.
Rick McGowan and the Nicola Valley Fish and Game Club have been pushing for years to access these lakes and others.
They don't put cheap locks on here. There we go.
They felt vindicated when the BC Supreme Court sided with them and crushed when the appeal court overturned the decision last month.
This is another road that Douglas Lake is locked.
McGowan hoped this would be a precedent-setting case, but has now left the club on the verge of bankruptcy. Many have framed the legal fight as a David and Goliath battle. Douglas Lake Cattle Company is owned by American billionaire Stan Kroenke, whose portfolio includes some of the world's most profitable sports teams, the Los Angeles Rams, Denver Nuggets, Colorado Avalanche, and the Arsenal Football Club.
And the guy has $8 or $9 billion. This is like a hobby to him. And to us, people like us, we retire in this country, and all we want to do is go recreate and go put our little boat in the lake and go fishing.
Back on the ranch, Gardner insists money has nothing to do with it.
It's either private or it isn't. Doesn't matter whether it's your last dime if you want to protect your land.
While this case is perhaps the most high-profile example of public access pitted against private rights, it's become an issue throughout the province.
The fact that you have a scenario where there's a public lake that the public can't access, what does it say about the rules as they are?
I mean, I think it points to a long-standing gap in British Columbia and Canadian legislation that we now need to reconcile, increasingly private right to exclude with the public's right to access.
Deborah Curran is with the Environmental Law Centre at the University of Victoria. She says on Vancouver Island, public access has been a big issue.
Landowners are restricting access more broadly over what we've ever seen before.
There are about 60,000 kilometers of Forest Service roads in the province, and timber companies sometimes use locked gates to block them off, which can make lakes and trails inaccessible. This map shows many gates in the central and southern part of Vancouver Island. All the red ones are currently closed.
So are you allowed to go down this road to access the lakes?
Not anymore.
The only way you can is if the gate is opened or you apply and are granted permission. Kim Hill is an avid fly fisher who likes the backcountry for its quiet, pristine lakes. But today she's in a park
There's no way to get in there.
because she can't drive to some of the more remote lakes, which she says is unfair.
Our Canadian birthright to have ability to go and enjoy the wilderness, and not have to jump through piles of hoops or beg for the keys for the gate.
The issues on the island are just another example of where individuals and groups have raised concerns about not being able to reach public areas for recreation. Curran says the province hasn't been pressured to act, but she thinks that will change.
These groups will get together and there will be a provincial lobby to address it, much like it has been addressed in many other countries.
Like the UK and Sweden, which has adopted what's called right to roam. The latter allows people to bike, camp, and even pick berries on private land. In BC, the government says it's reviewing the court case involving the two lakes and could make changes to give people more access to public property. Even though the battle over the lakes has created friction, there is one thing both sides agree on. They don't think right to roam is right for BC.
I think they should leave it alone, with private property being such a small percentage of the province.
We are not supporting crossing private property. We're supporting open public roads to public places.
In other words, McGowan and the rest of the club aren't looking to pry open the entire province, just pathways to what's already considered public, but out of reach for most. Briar Stewart, CBC News, near Merritt, BC.